How's it going, everyone? Right, push-pull legs, that's what we're going over today. Now, hopefully you've watched all the other videos in sequence to this, so I need to go back, watch the design of the program. We went through full body, upper lower, and the 5-day hybrid, and now that'll lead you onto this. Everything, it will all make sense on some of the stuff that I'm about to say to kick the video off. So, push-pull legs, it's a very, very common split, but again, I think a lot of people do this wrong and they make a lot of mistakes with it, which I will get into in a minute. But first off, push-pull legs, who is it for? When can you sort of graduate to push-pull legs? When are you going to get the most out of it? So again, you need to go back and watch the full bodies, the upper lower splits, the 5-day hybrid. Now, push-pull legs, what is the beauty of push-pull legs? What does this allow us to do? Push-pull legs, it allows us to, we can have more directed stimulus for an actual target muscle in one session. So that can sometimes be the downside of full body splits and again upper lower splits. There's a lot of work to get through in one session. So then by the time you get to an end of a session, some of the quality of work can drop off. Then the other thing is that as you get more advanced, to bring about, again, the adaptive response that we need to grow even bigger and stronger, at some point, the amount of set volume that we have in maybe a full body or an upper lower split, it might not be enough. As an example, in an upper lower split, if you're doing 4 sets for back, maybe at some point, you're not going to be able to see the growth that you want with just 4 sets of back. You're going to need to have your own pull there, as an example, because again, back is a big muscle, lats, upper back, again, your lower back, your traps, your rear delts. If you really wanted to emphasize every area and milk everything out of it, you may need a directed session at some point. So that's where push-pull legs comes in. Once you've fully exhausted the other splits, if you need more stimulus in a session, that's where we can go about push-pull legs. Now, because we can have more volume in a session, more directed stimulus to, again, a target area, whether that be, again, push is all of our pressing musculature, your delts, your chest, your triceps, obviously a pull session, again, all your upper back, your lats, everything I just went over, and then obviously legs, glutes, quads, hamstrings, calves, adductors if you want to throw them in. Now, as we get into push-pull legs, if we can have more directed stimulus in a session, so if our volume numbers go up, our frequency has to come down a touch. So I've been harping on a lot about frequency of full bodies and upper lowers and how they're great, but because we have a higher frequency with those training programs, our volume in the session for a muscle group is down. Push-pull legs goes the other way. So your volume and directed stimulus goes up in a session, but the frequency has to come down in order for you to go through stimulus recovery adaptation. You're not going to be hitting every one of these sessions every 3 days, every 4 days. You're going to have 5 or 6 days in between bouts of stimulus for a certain area. Again, hence that's why we can get away with more actual sets and more volume in that session, because there's more recovery time. Right, so that's an overview of push-pull legs and who it's for and how you can graduate it or graduate to it. This is going to be more of an advanced split. You're going to be pretty strong, pretty jacked if you're needing to run a split like this. Again, this isn't really a split for a beginner, someone who hasn't really got a lot of muscle tissue on them. I don't think you need something like this. You don't need that 5-6 days recovery in between a session. You're going to get a very, very far on something like an upper lower or a 5-day hybrid split of some sort. You're not going to need something like this. This is for people who are getting a little bit more advanced. Now, the other thing, push-pull legs, the big mistake people make with this, right? They tie themselves to a 7-day week. So they train push-pull legs off, or push-pull legs off, push-pull legs. So within 7 days, they're having 6 training sessions. Now for me, there's no way I can recover from that. Absolutely no way. And by working with a lot of people, it's very hard to see people recover from 6 training sessions in a week, especially if we're pushing these training sessions. So everybody looks at someone like Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman used to run a push-pull legs. He used to do 6 days on and then 1 off. But the problem with looking at that and going, Ronnie Coleman followed this, I'm going to do that. You forget one major thing. Unfortunately, you're not Ronnie Coleman. We're not Ronnie Coleman. He's a genetic phenom. He was an absolute freak. He can do things that we're never going to see again. So to base our programming on what we're going to do off an absolute phenom, top tier, probably the best Mr. Olympia ever, come on, you know, we need to look at that and go, okay, maybe we should just be a little bit smarter and not try and copy everything blindly. And then when we look at the mechanisms of hypertrophy and what goes on behind training programs and how we're going to set things up, once we know what we need to progress for us and ourselves, then you come up with your own plan. But push-pull legs, a first mistake a lot of people make is that they try and cram everything into a 7-day week, and then you just can't recover from that. You struggle to progress your lifts because you're blasting yourself with too much volume in one session, and then 3 or 4 days later you're coming back in, so you're not allowing your body to go through the stimulus recovery adaptation process because you're doing too many sessions to cram together. So a simple fix and a much better way and a much more efficient way to run a push-pull legs. But for a lot of people, again, if you can recover with 3 days on, 1 day off, you go for that, mate. If you can do that and actually progress, fair play to you. I'm not going to stop you from doing that. But just what I've seen, most people are going to do well. Free yourself from that 7-day week, and then you go to a 10-day week or an 11-day week as an example. So let's say we have a push A, a pull A, and a legs A. Then we have a B rotation of all the sessions. So there's an A and a B rotation. So there's 6 sessions in this split, right? So free yourself of the 7-day week, and you can get them done in a 9, 10, or 11-day week, whatever suits you and your structure, your schedule. But just don't cram everything into a 7-day week. That is the game changer with this. So as an example, push A would be Monday, pull A would be Tuesday, so they would be back to back. You'd have a rest day either side of legs, so legs would be Thursday, so you'd rest Wednesday prior, you'd rest the day after legs as well, and then you'd be back in for push B on Saturday. So that's how you work it. You can have a good rest day prior and after leg day, because like, generally for a lot of people, leg days are going to be the hardest, they're going to be the most fatiguing. So having a rest day between and a rest day after legs, it just allows a bit of that fatigue to dissipate, to not really bleed over into your push and pull session as much. So again, you go push A Monday, pull A Tuesday, rest, legs A Thursday, push B Saturday, pull B Sunday, rest again. And then it's on a continuous rotation. So 2 days on, 1 day off, 1 day on, 1 day off. You see how it goes in sync. That's one way to do it. Again, you might want to stick to Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. They're your 4 training days every week. That's fine. You just go on this rotation. You just keep doing every session in order. And most of the time, you're going to have 5 or 6 days in between a bout of stimulus for each muscle group. So it just works perfectly well if that's what you need to run. So that's the big beauty of push-pull legs. It just allows you more stimulus per session if that's what you need in order to grow. But there's also a little bit more recovery time in between, and the frequency will come down. So make sure you free yourself from a 7-day week with this, and you put it to again a 10-day week. It just works so much better and gives you much more ability to progress your lifts and go through the stimulus recovery adaptation cycle, because we know that that's what this is all about. We want to get on a run and progress our lifts, and if you're going to run something like this, this is a smart way to go about it. So every single session, I'm going to go through all of the push rotations in a single video on their own. I'll go through all of the pull, and I'm going to go through all of the legs because it would be too much to go through everything in one video. I'm going to split them up. So next video will be going through all of the push rotations and why I've got certain exercises in a certain order. I'll do the same with pull, and we'll do the same with legs, okay? So just to finish off, again, you know if you've watched the other videos, all sets to failure here. Again, and to the point that you can't do another good rep with good technique. That's the key. And again, progress with good form. We're not just trying to progress these with shit technique, because that just doesn't serve a purpose. That is not progressive overload. We want to progress with standardized and good technique. And that's how we drive our numbers up like that. That's how we're going to grow new muscle tissue, not just getting sloppy with technique just to have more load on the bar. So again, push-pull legs, it's a very good split if you need it, but just free yourself of that 7-day week and do it over a 10 or 11-day rotation. It works really well. So yeah, next week, keep an eye out for the push video. Again, what do you all think of these videos? Drop me down some comments, give me some questions. And what are you thinking of them? Are you utilising these programs into your own stuff? Just let me know. I'm always happy to answer any comments or questions that you have down below. So make sure you like and subscribe. More videos coming out. We're going to start growing this YouTube channel over the next couple of years. This is my next aim. I've grew Twitter, I've grew X. Now we're coming to YouTube, bringing video content. It's happening, right? So let me know what you think. Speak to you all in the next one.